All right, y'all. Top centers in the NBA going to the 2024-25 NBA season. The fellas couldn't make it today, so we're about to do this solo. Let's jump into it. So let's start off from the jump, from the first one here on the left. We got Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren, heck of a player, heck of a young player. Rebounding machine. Man, good defender, real good defender. His offensive game is a bit limited. He's not really a shooter like that. He can't stretch the floor, but definitely, well, super young to begin with, right? So he definitely has a high ceiling. I like his intangibles, and like I said, I like his defensive versatility. So I'm actually going to place Jalen Duren for next season. I might throw him at a B. I think people really sleep on him. I think he's really good. We got Clint Capella next. So Clint Capella, you know what you're going to get with him. He's a veteran in this league. He's been in this league for a while. Also a good defender, good rebounder, good shot blocker, good verticality, really good at deflecting shots around the rim and things of that nature. But again, limited offensively, right? Like these guys, similar to Duren, like they don't really have too much of a mid-range game or an outside game, any sort of shot or any sort of versatility to make them a stretch big, which is really what you need in today's NBA. So I'm actually going to place Clint Capella just because we know what we're going to get with him. I think I might throw Broski in a C. But shout out to Clint Capella. He's pretty solid. C is not terrible. Okay, so next up we got Brook Lopez. So Brook Lopez, really like Brook Lopez. Defense is like the first thing that I think of with Brook Lopez. He's a vet. He knows his role amidst this Milwaukee Bucks offense. He doesn't stretch himself too far. He's like a solid big, kind of like Al Horford in my eyes. He doesn't do too much. He gets a ton of rebounds. He's a good shot blocker. He's a good defender in general. Not really a perimeter defender, but around the paint and around the basket, he's really good at altering those shots deep in the paint. So, he can stretch the floor too. He has more offensive upside than these two guys, Duren and Clint Capella. So I'm going to take Brook Lopez and place him at a B as well. Next up, we have Kevon Looney. Similar to Duren and Clint Capella, pretty limited offensively. Don't really love his game. He's a decent defender. I think he's slightly an underrated passer. That's easy to say when he's been playing with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, so maybe makes it look better than it is. I won't have Klay Thompson this year to defer to. But I was about to say Clint Capella. Kevon Looney's okay. I'm going to place him at a C. I'll place him at a C. He's decent. Yusuf Nurkic, man gets all the boards. Real good defensively as well. Like I said, great rebounder. He has a little midi to him. He has a little game in the post, which I like a lot. He has some offensive upside. He's not really a stretch big, though, which I feel like is really what a lot of teams and where the NBA is going, as per Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Victor Wembanyama, so on and so forth. He's good. He's solid, though, but I don't see him being on the same level as maybe Brook or Duren, or do I? I'm undecided. Either way, I think B or C, you can kind of, respect it. He's a respectable big. I might actually throw him in, I don't know. Throw him in a B. We'll throw him in a B. Next up, we got Nick Claxton. So Nick Claxton, good player, real good player. Young player. He has a lot of defensive versatility. I really like that a lot about his game. Again, no real shot around the basket, but he has great hands. He has a soft touch. He's good around the rim and things of that nature. Probably needs to put on a little bit more size, but I do like what he brings to that Nets team. And really, he's going to be one of the first or second option, maybe second or third option more so, now that Mikal Bridges is gone. So he's going to have a lot of time to improve, to develop. But going into 24-25 season, I might place him at a B just because he's that menacing defensively, and I feel like there's a lot of upside for him going forward. Alperen Sengun. This guy's a beast. He's a monster. People call him Jokic light. I really like him a lot. He could pass, he can shoot, he could stretch the floor. I'm always impressed when I watch him play. And when I was watching him play for FIBA as well, I noticed a lot of great things about his game. I really like Alperen Sengun's game, and I feel like maybe going into next season, homie's been balling out. This might be our first A pick right here because his potential is through the roof. Guys, let me know, drop a comment what you guys think about Alperen Sengun, his potential, and how you see him on the Rockets going forward. But to me, he's their franchise player. and rightfully so, because he's shown a lot of great things through his first, 2 years or 3 years. I think this is going to be year 4 for him, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Chet Holmgren, obviously going into his second year. He had a lot to figure out in terms of his offensive game, defensive game, just being in the NBA, making that adjustment. Obviously, he missed his first season. He came back last year, which was technically his rookie season. I like Chet Holmgren. He's great. Obviously, second, he would have won the Rookie of the Year if it wasn't for the unicorn, Victor Wembanyama, or the alien, what they call him. So, he could shoot. He needs to put on size. He's a pretty good presence under the basket as well. I really like Chet Holmgren. Stat stuffer, good player, real good player, going to be one of the faces of this league in the future for sure, if he's not already. So I might actually take him at an A, because the size is there, the length is there, the defensive versatility. He can already shoot the ball. He's just going to continue to hone and get better at his craft, and he's going to be great. Bam Adebayo, next up. Defense, that's flat out. I just think of versatility. He can guard basically 1 through 5. He has good feet, good touch around the basket. He has a midi game. He's not really one to stretch the floor real deep to the 3-point line and get a ton of threes, but I think his elite defense. He's always one of the best defenders in the league. I noticed, like, year to year, and he's still improving. Like, he's still relatively young. I think he's only 26 or 27. So I really like Bam Adebayo. I mean, he's definitely an A to me, definitely. Nikola Vucevic. Okay, he's real good. He's real solid. His offensive game is great. He can stretch the floor. He has the midi game on lock. Great touch around the basket. Great post moves. Nikola Vucevic is kind of still a little bit of an old school center in terms of like that. He likes to bang down low and get into good post position and get his points the old school way. But the defense is super lacking. He's slow to get up the court. He's not the most agile player. So I'm going to take Vucevic, and, man, the offensive game might vault him into a B, because he's still pretty solid even though he's getting a little bit older. You know what I mean? Jonas Valanciunas, he kind of fell off towards the end of last year. He was playing for the Pelicans, but now I think he just got paid by the Wizards, if I'm not mistaken. Jonas Valanciunas, been watching him for a while now. He's just a very, very solid vet. He can shoot a little bit. I think he's trying to shoot more threes as the years go on, as the center position kind of evolves and the NBA changes. Not much of a defender. That was always his biggest knock. But his mid-range is butter. Like, bro really has a great, he has great post game as well. But like I said, that mid-range is just so smooth. He has his low bag, and he's one of the most offensively gifted centers in the NBA, I believe. So I really like Jonas Valanciunas, and he's going to be a good anchor as far as offense goes for the Wizards. Defense kind of leaves a lot to be desired. So, man, JV, I might throw him in a B just because he's a vet. He knows where to be. He can stretch the floor. The defense, I don't know. I feel like I go with whatever here, and it wouldn't make sense. I might, throw him in a B. He might be a C. Nikola Jokic, let me say that better. He is the best player in the league. He can pass the ball. He can shoot the ball. He's not the greatest defender, but when you talk about a player with an incredible basketball IQ, an incredible knack to find teammates, he always makes his teammates better, no matter who it is. He gets guys paid. Aaron Gordon came there, and he makes him look like a damn star. I really, really love Nikola Jokic. Who doesn't, right? I mean, he's just so unbothered about everything, and he comes out and he'll drop, a 40-point triple-double on your favorite player's head. So the Joker, undoubtedly S tier. Jared Allen, double-double machine, good defender. I believe he's a one-time All-Star. He has a lot of great defensive instincts. He's getting a little better with his touch in the mid-range, putting up some shots, getting to his spots. Solid defender, very solid. Just a good player overall, and I think respectably you can put him in a B. Now I'm kind of looking at that Jonas Valanciunas in a B, and I'm kind of thinking maybe he's a C now, but I don't know. He's just very solid. Like, he's gonna give you a good 15 a game, like no problems at all. Defense, gonna be some mismatches, but I believe he's progressed a little bit over the years. Anyways, JV is done. I'll stop talking about him. We put him in a B. No take backs, right? So okay, AD, definitely an S tier. This guy is equally as gifted offensively as he is defensively. He might even be a better defender, and that's saying a lot because offensively, this guy just gets buckets, right? Shot blocker extraordinaire, really. Gobbles up rebounds as well. Great presence, great size to him as well. So I'm gonna take him at a S for sure because AD is that guy. He had a healthy season last year, which was great for the Lakers. Super cool. And they're gonna need that going into this year because they didn't really upgrade any pieces in the offseason. They kind of whiffed at a bunch of free agents. Who knows? Still early in the offseason, maybe they pull off a trade or something. Zubats, really like him too. Really good player, really good defender. He has a little midi game. Not too much. He's working on it. He's developing, but just every year I see improved growth, and he's still pretty young, 26 or 27 years old. Good defensive instincts, good around the basket. Gets a ton of rebounds. I look at him kind of similar. His game is similar to Jared Allen, and just be a good defensive presence down low, and that's what you really need. And the Clippers are going to need it because losing Paul George is quite the blow. Okay, so Mark Williams, he's cool, good defender, gets a ton of rebounds, but his offensive game is limited again, and I don't really love guys like that can't do both. Although he is solid, the Hornets are going to have to get another center for the future. He's okay though, and he's young, right? So he's decent. Like, he's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm gonna throw him in a C. Jakob Poeltl, he's a great, maybe good to great defender. I don't know if I really say he's a great defender, but he's really good defensively. Again, offensive game, there leaves a lot to be desired. He doesn't really have any post moves. He doesn't really have mid-range game. He is a great passer, which makes up for a lot of his ailments on the offensive end, and he can't stretch the floor, but he'll get you a ton of rebounds. He will pass the ball. He'll find shooters. I like Jakob Poeltl, and he's maybe I say a top 12, top 15 center-ish in the NBA. So I think it's only right to kind of throw him in a B here. Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. He really turned his tenure with the Minnesota Timberwolves around after him and Cat didn't really mesh that first year. Last year, they go all the way to the West Finals. Bro's great, and I think his defense just really, as limited as he is offensively, his defense just kind of pulls him up the ladder because he's just really that good defensively. Like, he's definitely one of the best defending centers that we've ever seen, and that might be saying a lot, but really, like, if you watch Rudy Gobert, you'll know that on a nightly basis he gives it his all, and he's really, really a big presence in the paint, and he's great. You got to throw Rudy Gobert in the A. I'll say you throw Rudy in the A. We got Joel Embiid. Okay, probably second best center in the league, pound for pound. He's no slouch defensively, but he's not the greatest defender. He's not AD level, but his offensive game is just something special. A 3-level scorer, Joel Embiid. You guys already know what time it is. He has to be an S. Walker Kessler, great shot blocking ability. Great rebounder. I'd say maybe he's a little bit of an underrated passer. I don't think people really recognize that part of his game. He's not a stud by any stretch, but I've seen him make a few good passes. I feel like he has a lot to develop, though. His game has a lot to develop. But I will place him in a B because he's like, that defense is smothering. He's going to be, well, he already really is. And he was actually in his first year one of the best defending centers in the NBA. Domantas Sabonis, offensively, very, very gifted. Defense leaves a lot to be desired, but dude can pass, dude can rebound, dude is a 3-level scorer. So I'm putting him in the A. There's not much else I can need to say about that. Kristaps Porzingis, my guy, is always injured, but super talented, super, super talented. Again, 3-level scorer, great defensive instincts, great around the basket, great at altering shots, can block the ball at a high clip. He just never really sees the floor. But as per player, we're not rating injuries here or injury proneness. We're rating the player on, how good they are. So, I'm going to take Kristaps Porzingis, throw him in an A, no doubt. Mitchell Robinson, again, with the lack of offensive versatility, a great lob threat, really good defender. But that's sort of where his upside stops. Might have to throw him in the C here because he's just, outside of the lob threat, he doesn't really have any post-game. Offense, super limited, can't shoot or anything. And he's not quite the rebounder that guys like Jared Allen, Zubac, Valanciunas, for example. Love him, but he's a C. Miles Turner's real good, great defender, great offensive player as well. I mean, this guy shoots threes at a pretty high clip, gets a ton of them in. Great, got pretty good efficiency, good around the basket, has some post moves to him. Solid all around player. Pacers should be happy keeping him. You know, he's been in trade rumors for I don't know how long, but I definitely got to take Miles Turner in at B. Great player. Wendell Carter Jr. He's good. I like Wendell Carter. Again, he's a shooter. I feel like he's not. I feel like he's still got to put on some size. Again, he's relatively young. I think he's about 24, 25. But he's a good shooter. He's a pretty decent rebounder and a decent defender. Like, he's just pretty solid all around. Again, not to the likes of maybe a B tier center, as you can kind of see here. So I'm going to take him and put him in a C. Next up, we have Victor Wembanyama. So going into next season, Victor Wembanyama, with a year under his belt, is going to show a lot of improvement. He's already amazing. I don't say improvement in a way where it's like, oh, you know, he wasn't that good in year one, and in year two, you know, he needs to improve a lot. No, bro's already there. He's elite, defensively elite, offensively elite. He just needs a real PG to really hook him up and help him learn the nuances of the game. And I think that signing with Chris Paul going in the Spurs now is going to be instrumental in developing Wemby. And I'm glad that CP3 can get regular playing time. He's going to start for them. So I'm glad to see that after last year with the Warriors, he was a bench guy. And CP3 really still has, you know, that basketball IQ will never fade, right? Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. Victor Wembanyama going into next season. Oh boy, Victor's an S. Has to be. Next up, Daniel Gafford. Okay, Daniel Gafford, solid player. Like him a lot. Good defender, real good defender. Amazing rebounder. He has, like, I might even say S tier rebounding instincts. He's just so good on that end. But again, offensively, doesn't really show too much on a night-to-night basis. Super efficient because all of the shots that he takes are right, you know, under the rim or, you know, right by the rim. But I do like him, and you know, he's really solid. So you couldn't put him in a C. I think he's just that good of a defender, that good of a rebounder. So I'm gonna go ahead and take him in the B tier. Next up, we have DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton is a good player. I think he's just solid all around. Great rebounder. He has an offensive game to him, stretches the floor. Good player. I just kind of question his ability to stay focused at times, because he'll come out one game and he'll have just a fantastic performance, but then the next game I feel like he'll be a little tunnel vision with his offense and his shot selection and stuff like that. But he's still very talented, and definitely if you're the Trailblazers, I think it's a blessing to have him. You know, a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with that, but you know, he's still young. He's got some great upside, so I would place him in a B personally. Like, he's not an A for sure. He's not an S tier, but he's solid. Zach Edey. We're yet to see how he translates into the NBA. I believe he'll be the starting center for the Memphis Grizzlies because they just traded Steven Adams, and then alongside him at the power forward position, probably more natural to him would be Triple J. So we're going to go ahead and take Zach Edey probably in the C tier, just because I don't know what to expect from him as of quite yet. Obviously, pretty good defense, good rebounding, great build, great size to him. You know, good player, and really raised his draft stock as the NCAA tournament went on. I believe Purdue made it to the Final Four or Elite Eight, something like that. But I'm going to put him in a C just because the offensive side, very limited. But as far as a presence down low, as far as a guy that's going to be a lob threat and a good defender, rebounder, I'm going to place him in a C. Yves Missy, super athletic, can rebound the ball. But again, the offensive side is where I kind of cringe a little bit. You know, he's super young, you know, just like Edey, super young. So a lot that he can improve upon. But as a starting center, I don't know if he's quite a C. It's tough. Like, a lot of these could be changed, and I might actually go through before we end the video and change a couple. But Yves Missy, not known as a passer, and the Pelicans have a ton of shooting, so I feel like that might hurt them a little bit. Good presence, still might be a little thin. Probably needs to put on some size. I might take Yves Missy as the only D here, guys, but it's tough. You could put him in a C. Like, who knows how he's going to play in the NBA, where we're yet to see, right? So I think I'm going to take Jonas Valanciunas, place him in a C, and I might take Vooch. Man, this is tough, and place him in a C. But I feel like the rest of the list is pretty valid, guys. So Go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know how I did. Which ones do you agree with? Which ones do you disagree with, right? It's all opinion based. So guys, go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know how I did. Franchise players. We out of here. Peace.